name is Paula Blades. I am a co-founder of the Implant Truth Survivors nonprofit. I live in Calvert City along with my husband. I'm the mother of 3 kids, and I also have 2 grandsons that call me Mimi. I would like to discuss with you why I got breast implants and a little bit about my journey through breast implant illness and how my health is today. So let's go back to 1992 when I got my breast implants, because I was severely teased throughout my adolescent and teenage years. And back then I was very, your mind's very impressionable, and I just had this horrible body image, self-image of myself. My esteem was so low, and my self-esteem, I apologize. And with breast implant illness, I've been left with some cognitive issues, so if I stutter or backtrack, I forget things, so it may take me a minute. Anyway, so back to 92, I got the breast implants and was told by my surgeon that they were perfectly safe. They would last a lifetime. They were saline. Even if they ruptured, no big deal. My body would absorb it and life would go on from there. So in 1994, I had to get a revision, went with saline breast implants again. And they placed them under the muscle at that point. Same spiel from the surgeon about how safe they are, how I would never have to have them changed out ever again unless they ruptured. So therefore, I went on with life thinking everything's great. And, I had these big perky boobs that I thought was going to change my life, which, after a while, they didn't. I still had low self-esteem. So in 2008, I started beginning to get sick with chronic sinusitis that would not go away with rounds and rounds of antibiotic therapy. I ended up being hospitalized 3 times throughout 2008 to 2012. No, actually 4 times. 3 times in Paducah, Kentucky, once in Nashville, and then I also spent 2 weeks in Jacksonville, Florida at the Mayo Clinic. At that point, I was severely depressed. My white blood cell count always ran high. I had low-grade temperature every day. Everything, my bones hurt, my body ached, every muscle hurt. I'd been diagnosed with Addison's disease, MS. I even at one point was told I had leukemia. And I had to endure a bone marrow biopsy, which is probably the most painful test I had out of all the hundreds of testing. And I saw over 50 specialists back then, trying to just going from physician to physician to figure out what was wrong with me, and nobody could give me an answer. And so I got down to 82 pounds, couldn't eat, I was pretty much bedbound. And after the Mayo Clinic, that was a 14-hour ride home, and they couldn't help me. So I became severely depressed at that point, and almost to the point of being suicidal and not contemplating suicide, because I felt like I was such a burden on my family. I can remember one of the saddest days is when my grandson, he was probably 3 or 4 then, and he put his arm around me and patted my shoulder and said, "I miss my fun Mimi. Where did she go?" And that's the hardest, I think that's one of the hardest days. And at that point, I knew I was going to die. I was not going to see that precious baby grow up. And I started planning my funeral. And that same day, I was channel surfing, and something just told me to stop. And when I stopped, there was a lady on TV. She had all the crazy, similar symptoms I had. And she had been misdiagnosed with all kinds of autoimmune illnesses. So at that point, I started listening, and I'm like, that's me. And then Dr. Susan Kolb came on. They were on Monsters Inside Me. And explained how saline breast implants could make women very ill. So they sometimes could grow mold and then other toxicities by the shell of the implant being silicone. So the next step was to make an appointment with her, and that's exactly what I done. The next week I was down there, and she said they have to come out immediately. And I was so happy. I didn't care. This is Chong. And I didn't care that I was going to have surgery. I was just excited that somebody could explain to me exactly what was going on with me, and that they knew, they believed me. I wasn't crazy. It wasn't all in my head. And so she did the explant that Friday, and then I come back home, and after I had the drains removed, you know, I was just happy to be alive. Of course, I was in some pain, but not tremendous pain, not as much as when I had the implants put in. And so the drains got removed, and then a couple weeks later, I finally got to see the end result of what I was left with. And it was hard. It was hard. And I know so many women out there put off. They don't want to get their breast implants removed because fear of what they might look like. And I admit, I guess I was in, vanity came into play again, and I wouldn't let my husband see me. I wouldn't even look at my own self in the mirror. And finally, after about a year of that, I finally had to live and learn. After going and getting a prosthetic breast, which I learned at that point, you know what? I don't need these things. I don't want these things. I don't care how my boobs look. It doesn't make me the person I am today. And my dog also ate part of my boobs. So anyways, they're done. And this is what I get. And I feel very self-confident now, and I'm very proud of who I am. And, your self-image, you can destroy yourself by the way you think that you're supposed to look, how society puts out there, how we're all supposed to be a Barbie doll, and we're not. You have to learn to be comfortable in your own skin and find the beauty within yourself. Not the outside, but the inside. And so, that brings me to the point of the implant truth survivors. We are survivors. And it came about because I met a wonderful lady online in a group. A support group for women that were dealing with breast implant illness. And her name was Ann Ziegenhorn. And so we talked, and then we finally decided to meet in Atlanta. We had follow-up appointments. So as soon as we met, it's like I'd known Ann my entire life. I mean, we became sisters at that point. And we knew that we wanted to do something. We just didn't want to talk about it. We wanted to do something. We wanted to bring awareness to this disease, because still to this day, doctors are still telling ladies, not all physicians, but a lot of them, that they're good for life still. That's not the case. Even the FDA recommends you change them out every 8 to 10 years. So if the FDA is on board with that, then why aren't the plastic surgeons telling these women this when they go to get the implants? So all I can say, ladies, if you're thinking about getting breast implants, please just educate yourself and learn about breast implant illness, the symptoms to look for. And because I wasn't given that. And if I'd known that it was almost going to kill me, I would have not gotten them. And our ladies need a total informed consent about all the carcinogenics, the neurotoxins, everything that's even in the shell of the safe, quote, saline implants. All I can say is educate. And the Implant True Survivors, that's what we're about, is spreading awareness and helping the other ladies through their journey so they won't have to do it alone. Because it's very pleasant when you're going through this alone. So if you're out there and you're sick and you don't know why and you have breast implants, please reach out to the Implant True Survivors. And we'll help you as much as we can. We're not physicians. We don't give medical advice. and we're not attorneys. We're just ladies that have been through this, and we speak from our experiences and experiences of other ladies that have led us into their lives and helped them along their journey. So that's basically my journey with BII in a nutshell. Love and hugs to all. Love you.